Well, hey, thank you so much for the people that have tuned in again to Arachnoiditis Unfiltered, where we hold nothing back. This is real life living with a chronic disease. And I like to say the most painful disease you've never heard of with arachnoiditis. Today, man, kind of somber news. My co host Sarah is not with me. But hey, I've got great news on top of that. I've got my good friend Jen from My Spoonie Sisters podcast joining me today as a backup co host. And this may happen quite frequently because if you know the nature of our diseases, chronic diseases, they're always going to rear their ugly head. You're going to have flare ups. You're going to have days where you can't get out of bed, where you don't want to get out of bed, but you know you have to just to get your stuff done. But when we reach the point where we can no longer record on the schedule and we have people scheduled to record, we have people backed up to help us. And today, Jen is joining me. Jen and I met how many months ago, man? Several months, I think.
Oh gosh, 6 months or so?
At least, yeah. I mean, I think I reached out to your podcast and said, hey, I have a story and I have a chronic disease, and I know you guys like to highlight that. And we connected, and we've done, I think this is our fourth.
I think so.
Yeah, we did the forum with multiple people, which was
Yeah, I
awesome.
can't wait. I cannot wait for that one to air.
Yeah, and then now here you're on my podcast, right? I had nothing going on when we first met, so this is really super exciting for me. And for those that loved Sarah, Sarah's not with us right now. She is undergoing ketamine coma recovery and ketamine infusion therapy, which is good for pain management, and we certainly look for all kinds of opportunities to reduce our pain and make our lives more bearable so that we can get back into life versus sitting on the sidelines. Um, but Sarah was having a kind of a rough day, and my teaser was, new co-host, clickbait, of course, right? I mean, yes, I'm even falling prey to that. Sorry, like and subscribe. um, but no, Jen, hey, thank you so much for backing us up. I've been looking forward to this. We've had several conversations, and I'm going to be on your podcast as well, kind of back and forth. And um, welcome to Arachnoiditis Unfiltered. Give me your unfiltered version of Jen and My Spoonie Sisters. Tell me a little bit about your podcast before we launch into your story.
Well, thank you for having me, Steve. And hello, everyone. It's Jen here. And My Spoonie Sisters started in 2022, and it is all about sharing the real life stories of those that are living it. Because who better to tell the story? We hear it all the time from the doctors, from the professionals, but we need to hear it from the people living it themselves. And so that's what I'm all about. If you have a story to share, we want to share it. And that's kind of how things got started. But now I run a whole community support group, do a lot of advocacy for the rheumatoid arthritis and psoriasis realm, and love making friends along the way. And of course, Steve, I'm just so proud of you and I'm
Oh,
so excited to be here with you.
thank you. Thank you. That makes me feel good because, there's been a few podcasts that I've gone on and things just kind of click. You connect, you have chemistry, and chemistry, you can't fake chemistry. When you have good rapport, you have good rapport. If you're faking it, it's kind of like tapping that dog that comes up to you and you go, nice doggy, versus you're petting the dog, you're embracing the dog, and you're, getting the benefits of having, I, not being disparaging, using the term dog, of course, but you know what I mean. It's like animals. You either love them or you don't. If you love them, you have chemistry with them. They're not going to snarl at you. They're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. Same thing with podcasts. You connect or you don't. And I believe that I've connected pretty well with most all my interviews that I've done. Few exceptions, but there's some that, like the cream, rises to the top, and this is one of those relationships. And I look forward to, you know, doing my thing and watching you do your thing and doing our thing together, and growing our viewership, but most importantly, helping people that are dealing with chronic pain, that are looking for answers, that are at the beginning of their journey, because I think that's the most scary part of any journey. Sarah's going through that right now with ketamine infusion. I was talking to her earlier this week, and to say there was some non-coherent babble coming out of the text message would be an understatement. There was some high-level stuff happening. We're talking next level plane of insightfulness, I guess, to life and the world around us and what remains on the outside. And Sarah's going to get to that when she comes back. But um, yeah, we miss her, but I love the fact that I have people like Jen that are going to fill in, and maybe Andy. I would love to get Andy on here as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to grow this network together because we're here to help people, not necessarily do self promotion. That's
Definitely.
just not what we're about. So, all right. So, because this whole thing deals with chronic illness, tell me your chronic illness. Tell me your story and how it impacts your life and what you do to get around it to have that beautiful smile and laugh. Because I know you and I are very much alike with you like to laugh, you like to smile, you see the positivity in the world. Whereas when a lot of people that have a chronic illness, the illness is a boat anchor and it drags them down, and then they drag everybody else around them in their orbit down. But we're here in our small little sphere of influence trying to lift people up and make them positive, make them happy despite all the stuff that we deal with. So, Jen, tell me your story.
Wow. How much time do you have?
Oh, we got yeah, all you need.
All right. I'm going to give the shortest version I can possibly give. And it started in 2012. That's when that's when I was officially diagnosed. So that's not even really the beginning. You can cut this all out, right? Okay. Really, if you want to go back to the beginning of things, it probably started in about 2010. And I was raising three kids, all in middle school age. Ugh, because, I'm a glutton for punishment. And there's nothing worse than being a parent in pain with no answers of why you're in pain and you want to be there for your kids.
Yeah,
It is a horrible feeling. No parent wants to feel that. And of course, the kids, they don't understand. Kept going to the doctor. He was convinced I had a strep infection in my knee. Didn't even know that was a thing.
wow.
Apparently, it can happen to people. If it's ever happened to you, I'm so sorry, but that is not what it was. And eventually he said, I think you have some form of rheumatism. And of course, I go home and my husband's like, oh, well, that's the answer for, I don't know what's wrong with you. You're crazy. And so we're just going to call it rheumatism. And it's one of those moments of, all right, honey, thank you for that idea. But we both know there's something wrong. Let's figure this out. And they sent me to a rheumatologist. The first rheumatologist that I met with, first of all, I get into his office and he says, well, I don't know why they kept the appointment with you because your family doctor did not send over all of the files I requested. So he was about to kick me out the door. I burst into tears. At this point, it was 2011. Burst into tears in his office. I didn't want him to feel sorry for me. I did not want the attention. It was embarrassing, but that's how awful I was feeling. And I couldn't believe I'd waited 5 months to be there. And here he is just going to kick me out. Eventually, he finally was like, okay, we'll just do some new blood work and we'll look at what I do have from him. And so he looked at, I don't know if you're familiar, but they do like an ANA test and all kinds of other things, trying to check like inflammation markers and figure out what's going on. And he was like, well, you have one of these conditions. But in the meantime, let's start you on some prednisone, get some weight back on you. And I'll see you back in a few months. And I thought, you're worried about my weight? Okay. I mean, I guess, yeah, I've lost some. I had no appetite from being in pain. Anyone that's been through that, they probably understand. You can lose your appetite. You just want to sleep. You're hoping that it'll go away. You don't want to feel it. And I knew there was more to it, right? We always know.
Yeah.
Prednisone is evil.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only 5'2" on a good day, and I think I was down to about 100 pounds. And within a couple months, I'd put on 40. It was pretty fast. It was awful,
Wow.
and still had no answer. He thought it was either rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, or some other one similar to that. Finally, a year later, still no diagnosis, but he's trying me on all these medications, and some I had allergic reactions to. One I actually had a seizure on. I finally fired my doctor,
Good for you.
and I saw this new rheumatologist. The very first appointment I walked in, and he was like, "Oh, well, I've looked over your entire file, and you have rheumatoid arthritis. No messing around. That's what you have."
Okay.
Okay, I've waited over a year for this answer. Thought I'd feel better, but instead I want to cry in my car.
Yeah.
We are raised from a young age to automatically hear that word arthritis and think old person disease, joint deformity, and pain. And that's really all we think it is,
Hmm.
right? There's so much more to it. Each
Oh,
each form affects people differently. And rheumatoid arthritis and even the axial spondylitis, they affect more than just the joints. Same with psoriatic arthritis. They affect more than just the joints. There's ligaments, there's organs, all these things involved.
it's a domino effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then of course there's side effects to the medications that are not great. And yeah, I went through more allergic reactions, and in 2017 I was on a TNF inhibitor. I was in medical remission, feeling pretty good, feeling like me, being active with my now high schoolers, going to football games, doing all the things, hiking, camping, all of it. When one day I woke up and I started seeing these sores on my leg. It was kind of down near my ankle on my calf. And I was like, huh, that's weird. And a couple days go by and it's growing. And by the time I went into urgent care, I had one that was bigger than like a silver dollar. It was big, and they were red, and they were starting to ooze. And went in to see the urgent care. They thought I had a skin infection. They thought I caught it from the pool at the gym. Okay, all right. I'll do what you want me to do. I'll take the meds. I'll use the cream. A week goes by, no improvement. And so I go to see my rheumatologist again. It's time for my infusion. And I said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know I'm on these two different things for a skin infection that my urgent care doctor thought I caught at the gym. Is it okay for me to still get my infusion?" And she took a look at me, and by then it had spread. I was starting to get them on my arms. And she was like, "I'll be right back. I'm going to consult with the other rheumatologist in the office." And I'm sorry, but when stuff like that happens, who doesn't suddenly, okay, alarms, whistles of all kinds are going off. This is not good.
Blood pressure, heart rate, all go
All
to
of it,
yeah.
right? She comes back in. She brings three people with her.
Oh man.
So now they're all staring at me and holding up my leg, holding up my arm, looking at it. And they all confirmed with her, and they're whispering, and they leave the office, and she says, "Okay, well, you're not getting your infusion today because you're allergic to it."
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. She said, "Stop taking everything they gave you. That's not going to do anything. You're allergic to your infusion. In about 1% of people, TNF inhibitors actually activate another symptom in your body. You now have pustular psoriasis."
Oh, wow.
So that kind of all made sense why it was oozing and looking all gross and all the things. And listeners, if you want something really disgusting, if you're into that, go Google it. But if you're not, please don't, because it's nasty.
Hey,
And at the time she didn't think it was a classification issue. She thought that I would still be able to take TNF inhibitors. So we started me about a month or two later on a new TNF inhibitor, and it got worse.
wow.
So I was on it maybe 2 or 3 months. So by now it's been several months, right? Oh man. By then it was on my scalp, behind my ears,
What?
down my sides. It had spread everywhere. It was like head to toe. The
Wow.
only place it didn't go is on my face.
Almost like poison ivy just kind of takes over, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. And my family doctor described it as looking like a burn from the inside out. Like I was a burn victim, but my burn started inside. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was the shortest version I could give you of what I have going on in my life.
Wow. Well, let me just a couple of things kind of stand out to me. Number one, you don't look old enough to have high school kids.
People say that to me a lot. I'm telling you, I thank my parents for their genetics. I really do.
I kind of curse mine to an extent because I have heart disease as a result of genetics. Um, I was an endurance athlete for many decades, and the reason I did that was because my grandfather died. So when I was in my 20s or early, well, actually 20, and I wanted to avoid that. I mean, I knew enough about health to know that you had to be healthy to avoid heart disease. But once I got in front of my cardiologist, he's like, Steve, you cannot outrun genetics. It's always going to catch up. It's like right behind you and it will beat you every single time.
And it comes with the good, the bad, and the ugly, and
Yeah.
it's really true, unfortunately.
Well,
So,
and even more so, it comes with autoimmune diseases because once you
mhm.
have one, you are so much prone to others. Like I have vitiligo. I have, the
Oh,
skin
yep,
lightening, right? I have psoriasis. I've got coronary artery disease. I've got cardiac syndrome. I've got arachnoiditis. I mean, there's so many things that I could kind of go down the list on.
they
Uh,
like friends.
yeah. Oh, they do. Yeah. Misery loves company, right? I mean, they're having a huge
Mhm.
party in my body. Trust me. It's raining today, and
Oh no,
right, rain always is. It's like a flare. And I was having such a bad day, but when I was looking outside, I kept seeing the sun and the clouds and the blue sky, and I was like, "Oh man, it's a beautiful day." Then I go out to the post office, and this torrential downpour comes down, and I'm like, "Oh, well, there you go. Go figure." I mean, we had like maybe a 10% chance of rain here in Oklahoma today.
that can be enough to do it to you, though.
That is just, I mean, when it blows over Edmond, it's like, hey, Steve, here's that black cloud you ordered up, on Amazon. It's here
Hmm.
right away. We're going to
It's
get it home.
arrived.
So, uh, but then the next thing that stands out to me, and I mean, this is one of my pet peeves. This is why I'm certain I can speak for you and Andy, and I know I can speak for Sarah that this is why we're advocates for patients that go and
Hmm.
see these doctors that, you come in and you know what you're talking about. You know your body, you know the things that it's going through, you know how to describe it well enough that they should be able to categorize you and then narrow it down to something that's going on. Um, but the first thing they do, oh, let's see what kind of pill can I give you because that always kind of placates the matter, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's anxiety. I think you need something for that. Let's try an antidepressant. Let's go there.
So pills are nothing. Pills are fingers in the dike. You're
Hmm.
holding back up one single water spout, but pretty soon another one's going to happen over here, and they're going to try to put another pill in it. And pretty soon you're out of fingers, you're out of hands, you're out of toes, and the problem is the cure, right? Cure what's causing those holes and the water to leak through the dam. That's kind of
Hmm.
where we're at with everything, and that's the mission that I feel like we're all on. It's just kind of an unwritten rule that we're out there to make a difference by telling our stories. Um, but yeah, the I can relate with the psoriasis, not the pustular psoriasis, and I can relate to the arthritis as well. Mine is more osteo versus
Right.
rheumatoid, but rheumatoid runs in my family. So hello, how many more years before
There's still a chance,
yeah,
Steve. I
my
hope you don't.
fingers start, moving over. Charlton Heston was a famous actor back in the 70s. Um, he had arthritis really bad in his knees and in his hands. You could tell later on they were really trying to hide it. but his hands were deformed. You know how the joints will just kind of go from this to they're all kind of
Hmm.
right.
Yep.
You it's hard to pick up a cup. It's impossible to pick up a pen and write. That's just our body breaking down. But I know as smart as we are with our medicine, and if we get the right doctors on board with all these chronic diseases, there's something going on that causes the inflammation cascade throughout the body. And the majority of lupus, MS, I mean, you could go down the list on all these chronic
Oh, yeah,
diseases. Inflammation is involved right from the get go. And
absolutely.
through the flares as well. So they need to, at least in my opinion, and I'm not a researcher, I don't have a PhD. I was working on my master's, I didn't finish. Um, but it just comes down to common sense. When you live with this for so long, you know areas that they should be looking at, and the fact that they're not really is what the groundswell of people like us need to do to build up, to talk to our doctors and to talk to Congress, who says, oh, by the way, ketamine infusions are good for pain, but there's not enough data for us to support it for Medicare, right? And I take no opioids. I take prednisone, your good friend prednisone. Um,
I'm so sorry.
well, I mean, my big fear is that I'm doing damage to my liver,
Mhm.
damage to my kidneys, and I'm preventing my body from making its own prednisone by taking it orally.
How
Um,
often do they check your blood work for your liver and your kidneys?
oh, you're gonna love this.
Never?
Maybe if I go in and say, hey, maybe we should do some yearly blood work and, make sure that my levels are there, that should be a standard of care. They should be calling me saying, hey, Steve, we know you have this disease. It flagged in our EMR. You need to come in. We need to check this, this, and this. It's not, it's not a request.
Right.
You need to get in here.
So, question, is your family provider the one giving it to you?
Mm, well, I've been handed off to so many physicians.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, that's typical.
but yeah, there again, that's the thing. Neurology, neurosurgeon, cardiology, PCP, urology, gastroenterology. I mean, all you can throw all the specialties in there pretty much, and they each give me one drug, and then I try to get it back to my primary care physician, even though it's not his responsibility to give me my beta blocker or to give me my blood thinner. That's my cardiologist. But I want it under one roof, one person, one set of eyes that says, hey, I'm looking at your chart, I'm looking at all these medications, and maybe we need to think about it from a well-rounded standpoint versus piecemeal to all these other people that are giving you this, that, and the other, and they don't know what I'm trying to do. I guess you would call that centralized medicine, um, something along
Right.
those lines.
Right. And I think what's difficult is that we don't get all of them talking to each other. In a perfect world, they would communicate with each other and they would all work together. But as a whole, we need someone paying attention to all the meds that were being prescribed and making sure that the blood work is being done, to
Mm-hmm.
be checking, because it sounds like, just like me and several others, you're probably on quite a few prescriptions. And I know my rheumatologist to keep me on my meds every 3 to 4 months. I have to be checked, and some meds that I've been on, I have to be checked every single month. It just kind of depends. But she will always notify me it's time to check everything again. And I'm going to push you. I'm going to remind you to go get that checked because you want to
Yeah.
make sure that nothing's being affected, and you might be totally fine. But at the same time, it's good as we get older. We're not spring chickens to be getting those things checked. And I'm not getting any younger. In fact, last week I found out I have osteoarthritis, and they never told me.
Oh yeah. Look, hey, welcome to the club.
I know. So now
No
I'm like,
exclusions there.
okay, so we'll just add that to the thing. And my husband was like, ooh, are you doing a happy dance? You just got another diagnosis. And I was like, no, honey, ha ha ha. It's not that funny. You think you're funny. But I think that's kind of some of his dark humor trying to creep in there. And
Yeah.
instead of showing how worried he is, he wants to make a joke out of everything.
Yep.
So I try to let him run with it. Usually it goes over my head. You guys, if you ever want to tell me a joke, you got to probably tell me you're joking with me because woohoo, not my
Well,
skill set.
for those that don't know Jen yet, and I encourage you to go on to my Spoonie Sister podcast and sign up and subscribe. She she does a pretty good happy dance. I watch her TikToks and the stuff on Instagram, and Jen is like one of the most creative people that I've come across with all that stuff.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
yeah, I mean it's I can put words in front of my Instagram that says dog or water, fire hot, water wet, rock hard, something basic like that. But I can't do all this fancy stuff that really draws people in, and I'm just kind of hoping people come back for the ambiance that we provide, right? the, the the fact that we do care, we want to listen, and we want to make changes. Sarah, one of the things that we're trying to do is I want to get in front of Congress and talk
Mhm.
about the way that they view us, especially people in chronic pain, because I worked the ER for many, many years when I was an X-ray tech in the hospital, and we had people coming in that had all these aches and pains, and you could weed out the people that were in real pain versus the people that were in withdrawals and just needed drugs, right? And
Absolutely.
they called them drug surfers. They would surf from hospital to hospital to hospital, trying to get what they needed to fix that pain from withdrawal. And I know the pain from withdrawal is hellish. I went through it for a year and a half, most intensely for the first 3 months. So I get where these people are at. They're weak to a point where they need that drug and they can't make a good choice for themselves not to get the drug when they don't need it. People like us need the medication. We need it to function. We need it to be able to get out of the house. And when congressmen that are fully healthy have never suffered any type of chronic pain or any type of chronic illness, some have, I'm assuming, but and maybe they have relatives, but until you experience it firsthand, what you, myself, Sarah, and everybody else in our collective of chronic illness has experienced, they'll never, ever get it. Never. Even our spouses, and I mean, I say you're very lucky to still be married. Um, I mean, and not that I know how your marriage is. I just know the statistics. When you have a chronic illness, people run from you. They don't walk; they run, and a lot of it is almost immediate.
And
Sadly.
I agree with you, and I think people would be surprised. I've even met people that have been diagnosed with cancer and their spouses run out on them
Mm,
or cheat on them or both or whatever. And it's like, holy crap, you've got cancer. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine, like, wasn't death till you part? Wasn't that supposed to mean something? Do
yeah.
we need to write in there, even with cancer, even with a chronic illness? I mean, come on, people. There's a point here. And and even to go with that, I don't know if you've met very many parents of chronically ill children,
Mm,
but that is a quick thing that divides up families too, and it's absolutely heartbreaking because you need that support even more when you're raising a
absolutely.
child. You and to the parents that do it alone, wow, I'm amazed by them every day. I can only imagine how difficult it is for them.
Yeah, I worked Children's Hospital right out of X-ray school here in Oklahoma. It was the only children's hospital in Oklahoma. So we saw pretty much every exception to the medical rule book. You saw some of the most horrible diseases thrust upon a child that needed it the least. And even to circle back to when you get cancer or when you get diagnosed with um, arachnoiditis or rheumatoid arthritis and psoriasis, when you need somebody the most, unfortunately, sometimes they can want you the least, right?
Hmm.
And um, and we discussed this in an episode, a couple of episodes ago, about marriage and chronic illness. because it's a thing and it's not really talked about a lot. You may hear a couple of videos out there, people talking about it, but I think that if anything, we need to bring that to the forefront because there needs to be a lot of communication between spouses and the medical community collectively. That unit needs to be on the same page because what tends to happen is the worse your condition gets, the worse your disease is on you, the more desensitized the people around you tend to get because it becomes this is the third time I can't go out of the house and go do something with the family. So
Mhm.
here comes the eye roll, right? I'm missing Christmas for the third year in a row. Not because I want to. I love Christmas. I love the holidays. I mean, October through the middle of January is like my favorite time of the year because of all the gatherings and friends, and I love the
Mhm.
cold weather and the fires. Um, but to miss a Christmas, and I missed a lot working in the hospital. It's not fun. It's not by choice. If I show up, know that I'm in pain and I'm in pain there for you so that you can have a good time because the eye roll was going to come if I said no. Right.
Well, exactly. And I think to go with what you're talking about, when we have these discussions about marriage and what it's like having yourself or a partner with a chronic illness, there's multiple situations that we see happen, right?
Hmm.
So there's the one we hear about a lot, the eye roll, like you mentioned, and and then there's the very few compassionate ones and the fighting ones. And those are the rare gems I think anyway. Because I don't feel like we hear enough about spouses being that way. The fighters, the ones that are by your side trying to get the answers. And it's interesting. I love my husband, but he's done all of them. He's done every single one. It's you never know which personality you're going to get. But that's normal. I think that's pretty normal
Yeah.
because they see what we're going through, they hate what we're going through, but oh, now something's happening again.
Yeah.
And I can't blame them for that. I can't.
Yeah. I
Especially
always.
sometimes, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but there is
No,
one more thought. But sometimes we are unbearable. And I will acknowledge that. I am. Sometimes I am annoying. So I can see why he's eye rolling, right? And then there's other times where you get the eye roll and it's like, I don't think I deserve that eye roll. I'm trying to be honest about what's going on with me. So I mean, it's like, almost like you're in this no win situation. So sorry. Anyway, your turn.
no, you're fine. So I mean, how is it? Because every time we talk, I always see you smile, and I get the same thing. I smile a lot. I laugh a lot, but Sarah and I have had some haters. How can you laugh and how can you make fun of this disease? And I'm like, I'm not making fun of the disease. I'm making fun of the life that I'm living because it makes me happy. And I would rather have something to laugh about as opposed to something to bitch about. Right.
We like the alternative better, right?
Yeah. I mean, and it's a choice. Sarah and I say this all the time. It's a choice to
Mhm.
be, to choose happiness, to choose positivity.
We
If you
have that choice every day we wake up.
every minute of every day. Yeah. And
Mhm.
the I was in line at Dollar General the other day getting one thing, and I was stuck behind this lady that was doing. She was getting like a was it money certificate or I forget what they call that. Where like she paid them money and then they gave her like a cashier's check type thing. They
Okay, okay, like
a
a
money
money order type of
yeah
thing.
money order. And there was a guy in front of me that was right behind her, and she was having a difficult time counting out the money, and they can only do so much at one time. And then she had to do a separate card, so they had to break it up into 2 or 3 transactions, I think. And this guy was like tap 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 tapping his foot and just
He was annoyed in a hurry,
looking around. Yeah, she
maybe on
was
a lunch
disrupting
break.
his
Yeah.
life, and I'm sitting there, I'm smiling going, oh man, this is not going to go good. And the lady that was helping check her out, she goes, I'm so sorry. And I said, hey, this is this is all part of the
Part of
process,
life. It's our turn. She was
right?
here first.
Exactly. I mean, just you do you, and you don't worry about us. If we don't want to be here, we'll put our stuff down. We'll walk out. Um, and this guy kept tapping his foot, and I'm just like, This guy, I just want to go up and give him a hug, going, "Hey, man, I got some true stuff going on.
Yeah.
Let's compare stories. And if you
What?
can't smile at the end of it, what I got to tell you, then you got some serious problems going on."
Yeah, buddy, what's making your day so rough? Are you
Right.
late on a bill? Did your wife just walk out on you? Is your lunch break almost over?
You know,
Somebody in surgery, someone just died. I mean, there's a million situations. We never know about what's going on with people, but at the same time, you can't help but wonder, are you just an angry punk
yeah,
that just needs to be humbled a little bit?
yeah. Taking down a couple of notches, and yeah,
Hmm.
I get
Yeah.
you.
And it's tough because we're going to always run into those kind of people.
Yeah. Oh, everyone. Some places more so than other. You know,
Hmm.
why is it they're all named Karen?
Oh, I know. I know. And
I s-
I feel bad for anyone that actually has that name out there. Oh man, I'd be changing my name. Oh,
yeah. What's my middle name? Whatever. Call me Bertha if you need to. I don't care. Just
yeah, I hate my middle name, but don't call me by my first.
exactly. Exactly. All right, so I'm going to kind of switch things up just a little bit here. I've been doing this podcast. This is the seventh podcast. You're lucky number seven. Yay!
Yay!
And I have yet to mention some of the other sponsors that have kind of gotten me to this point by promoting and helping me on my athletic journey. And I use the term athletic very loosely. I mean, I'll be 63 next month, and trust me, I'm not near as fast as I used to be. I can't do near as many good things as I used to do, but I continue to push myself regardless. To me, now it's all about going from point A to point B, not trying to get first, second, or third, right?
Absolutely.
Complete the course. Um, but there's been a few companies. The very first one that I connected with was a company called Thrive Orthopedics. Two young
Ooh.
guys started this company, and I found them online just shortly after they had kind of founded their company. I wrote them a letter, told them my story, said, "Hey, you know what? I use AFOs, ankle foot orthotics, to ride my bike. I use them bilaterally. Would love to represent your brand." And that was, I think, 4 years ago. And they're still supplying me with AFOs. We still have good contact back and forth through Instagram and through email, and they have given me so many opportunities to go out there and do my thing. Another company that I represent, and this is the irony, is Newton Running. They're based out of Boulder, Colorado. It's a American-based running shoe company, and the irony is the fact that I run with forearm crutches, so I don't really run. I do my version of running, but they are happy to support me with their shoes, put me on their Instagram, put me on their website, and, put my name out there because they think my story is good. And without their shoes, I wouldn't be able to cover the distance A to B. And
That's exactly it right there, though. That's
yeah,
exactly why you deserve to have them. So you might not be what you would call the typical runner, but you're deserving. And you love their product,
yeah.
and who better to show their product than someone like you?
Well, I mean, the one thing, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. The one thing about their shoes that I used to buy Nike and Adidas and Puma, and I would put them on. And there would be a learning curve for my feet to get used to the shoe, for it to mold to me. I can say without a doubt, every single shoe that I put on of theirs, it fits me like a glove. There's no
Mm.
learning curve. There's no hot spot, on my arch or anything like that. And just give me 1 second. I'm going to show you what I'm working with here.
And you said they're called Newton?
Newtons, yeah. So this is their the shoe, right? Based out of Boulder, Colorado. They have patented technology. So if you see this right here, it's right under the ball of the foot. It kind of elevates it a little bit, and it's kind of like pushing off of a pitcher's mound. It kind of propels you forward as you're running, right?
Ooh.
It's patented technology. when they started this, they worked on it for several years, and they got the patent, and the shoes have really taken off. And then, of course, here's my AFO, Thrive Orthopedics AFO. I've got one also that comes in the front when I ride my bike, but this is probably better for walking, and it's a lot lighter.
So, for those of us out here that are, well, there's no way of putting it. We're a little dumb. We don't know what it is. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, it's called ankle foot orthotic, and it's basically for people that have foot drop or have immobility in their lower extremity below the knee, essentially.
Okay.
You can also have a KFO, which is knee foot orthotic for muscles that the higher up you go in your like towards the femur, the quads, and the hamstrings. If they're not working quite as well, you can get a brace for that as well. And when they went to carbon fiber changed the game because they used to be metal and leather way back in the day, very antiquated. But carbon fiber gives you the flex. I mean, it stores energy. So if you are able to run, it helps push off. Does not give you an advantage. It gives you back the advantage that you lost as a result of that paralysis. So, yeah, those two organizations have been very integral in my journey, as well as two others. One is USA Triathlon Foundation. I'm an ambassador for them because I am a pioneer in the sport, and then Challenged Athletes Foundation, which helps challenged athletes get into sports with equipment, with training, and with travel to go compete. Because when you are a disabled athlete, it costs you so much more to
Hmm.
compete than it does anybody else. Consider if you have an extremity that you had amputated. Now,
Hmm.
all of a sudden, you need a cheetah prosthetic to run. Anybody else can go buy a $120 pair of running shoes. You need a $10,000 prosthetic to be able to
Hmm.
do what they're doing. To say it's not fair is an understatement, but none of us did this to ourselves. It just kind of happened. We looked for ways to change the game, and these companies have helped me change that game. And so I really wanted to give them a shout out and just let people know that they need to support them. And if you have a few extra dollars here and there at the end of the year, and your company will match and sponsor you in a gift donation, they're tax deductible through Challenged Athletes Foundation, through the USA Triathlon Foundation. And there's one other company that you and I are both paired with that I'm very excited about called
Oh,
Rare
yes.
Patient Voice. And Sarah and I are so excited about this because when I started thinking about this, Rare Patient Voice, what they do is they put caregivers and patients in contact with companies that are doing studies about their disease, about how to improve life, quality of life, new procedures, clinical trials, things along that line. And the
Hmm.
benefit of signing up, yes, we get like a $10 honorarium when people sign up. It's a one
Hmm.
time fee, does not come from anything that they would get paid, comes directly from Rare Patient Voice. But the patients that sign up can sign up for studies that pay up to $160 an hour. And
Yeah.
if you're disabled and you're on disability, and you can do this phone interview and do a couple of follow-ups and make $150, that's a win-win. Plus it increases the pool of patients to pull from, which improves the quality of the data that they get out of the study, right? So we're really trying to advance medicine and advance uh, knowledge into chronic disease. So we may get a cure faster if we sign up. So please look in the description of this podcast. There will be a link. Please go on there and sign up. It's a direct URL for Arachnoiditis Unfiltered. And I know that Jen has one for my Spoonie sister. So either way, sign up if you have a chronic disease and you've not signed up before.
Yeah, and I what I want people to realize too is that it's for a wide range of ages. You could be 90 years old and qualify for studies. It's for a huge variety of illnesses too. It doesn't even have to be a rare disease. Yes,
Right.
it's called rare patient voice, but it could be for anxiety, depression, high cholesterol, prostate cancer. It could be for all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And some of the studies are just a phone call. That's it, just a phone
Yeah.
call. Some of them, all you're doing is on your computer answering some questions, and that's it. And then you get a check in the mail. I've done a few of those. Some of them, it might take a little more time. They might have a Zoom with you for an hour, might even be 2 days where they have different calls that last about an hour.
Right.
They're all different. There's so many variations and options out there. And so be sure to fill it out, but put in everything.
Yeah.
If you've got high blood pressure, make sure you put it in there.
Yeah. And if you're a caregiver too, my sister cares for my
Mm-hmm.
mom who has dementia. And right now there's a study going on for caregivers and dementia patients. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the total, I think it's like 3 interviews that they do. One's a little bit longer than a couple of different follow ups, but it's like 300 some dollars for
Yeah.
that little bit of time.
And did you know they even do some in-person ones too?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So they're actually looking for, ironically, people with pustular psoriasis.
I saw that on their website. Yeah.
Hmm. And I think it's for in Texas. And I think they said they're willing to fly people out there if need be. They're desperate for people. And so I need to go fix my file because apparently it says I have psoriasis. It doesn't say I have pustular psoriasis.
Okay.
So they can't qualify me for the study until I change that. So that's a
Yeah.
great reminder. Thank you.
When I signed up the other day, and I signed up at Stacy's request. She's like, "Hey, go on and sign up. One, you need to know the process in case somebody has questions."
Hmm.
And I told her, I said, being a Midwest country boy, I thought it would be on the honor system that I wouldn't sign myself up and try to get, money for signing myself up. But it does make sense to do that. And literally within like 2 or 3 days of signing up, I get a notice that says, "Hey, we're sending you $20 because I think my sister signed up as a
Hmm.
caregiver." And she's also got thyroid disease. She had her thyroid. She had to drink radium, I think, and had it surgically removed. Had some problems with that, but yeah, I mean, I saw, gosh, so many that I could qualify for, and I'm thinking we're in July. We got roughly 4 months to Christmas.
Hmm.
Christmas money, right?
Yes, definitely.
Seriously. Yeah. And they're not a fly by night company. They've been around for a long time
Hmm.
on global. They're in many different countries now. So, our reach, we could reach somebody down in Australia and they could hook up with our URL and, we would get credit for that. And they would be involved in that patient study that, they need to be in with their disease. So that's very, very exciting. I'm really looking forward to them. And I've got an interview with their founder coming up here in a couple of weeks. I'm really excited about that. Uh,
Yay.
yeah, we're gonna do an Instagram live, I think, and kind of do Q&A. You did one of those the other day, I think.
Yeah, be sure to let me know. Stacy, you're gonna love her. She's so fun to chat with.
She's awesome. Yeah, yeah. We've
Yeah.
had when I sent her a message initially, we just kept sending messages back and forth. This went on for like almost an hour and a half, and finally she's like, "Can we do this via email?" And just kind of like put it all together. I'm like, "Sure." So yeah,
Yeah.
we connected, and definitely looking forward to that. So.
I think
Uh,
it'd be fun to bring her daughter on the podcast sometime.
Oh, okay. She lives in Hawaii, right?
Yeah, they live in Kauai, and we keep talking about getting together someday since we go every once in a while. But we always seem to go to Oahu. But Kauai's on our list next. So I told her if we go there, she and I are going to hook up for sure.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
take me somewhere cool. Let's do something fun. Go see a waterfall. Go on a hike. I don't know, but
See
let's
the
do
chick.
something.
I was there in Kauai on my honeymoon years and years ago, almost 20 years ago, and we were playing golf on a course, Poipu Bay, I think it was Kauai, um, and there were all these chickens everywhere, and
Everywhere.
apparently, I guess some storm had come through years ago, and people that had their own chickens, they just got scattered across the islands, and now there's all these wild chickens, and you'll be out on the golf course and here's like a herd of chickens just kind of walking through, where you're getting ready to putt the ball. It's kind of crazy.
Everywhere you go. In Oahu, there's this famous place everyone likes to go called Leonard's Bakery.
Oh,
They're gonna be outside. They're gonna be saying hello as you're standing in the line to go in and get your fun donuts. I'm gonna butcher the name if I try to tell you the real name, but they're basically donuts. Um, yeah, you're gonna see them everywhere. Outside of restaurants, the zoo. Yeah, they're gonna be everywhere. They're our little friends.
yeah, I love chickens. Honestly, they eat ticks, and we have plenty of ticks here in Oklahoma. So eat all you want, chickens.
Exactly. The more the merrier. Please do.
All right, so I'm going to wrap it up here. The thing about when we do these podcasts and these conversations, they go so fast. We've been doing this for 15 minutes. It feels like 20. I mean,
Yep.
that's just how it flows, right? There's no lull in the conversation. At least not when I'm involved. I can dominate a conversation. I do apologize.
I
I'm an
can too.
guy.
Before we leave, I looked up some puns for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
And so I wanted to throw a couple out at you just for fun.
Do it.
So let's see here. Okay. Are you a Harry Potter fan?
Yeah, yeah. I love Harry Potter.
Okay, we've got Flary Potter and the Chamber of Pains.
There you go. That's okay.
Let's see here. Every day is Friday because I'm cooked.
Yeah, that can be pretty much any day, but yeah,
Hmm. Let's see here. What's another good one? Autoimmune? More like autoimmune possible. Okay, I don't know about that one. But
I used to have one. So all my pain is in my foot,
mhm.
and I used to have one where I would say, "Pain in the ass, my foot." Right?
See, that's better. The other one was like,
Yeah. So yeah. Hey, thank you so much for standing in for Sarah, and just in case anybody missed it, Sarah will be back. She's still on planet ketamine, so
Yep,
so her brain is still kind of being rewired. We're
yep.
still texting back and forth, and we're planning. We have a lot coming up. We've got a very special guest coming up next Tuesday that we're doing, which
I'm
was
so
one.
excited.
Yeah, this is one of the very first podcasts that I did called the Dadcast podcast. And when I did this, um, the running joke was I had just kind of found out my story, and these guys were interviewing Major League Baseball players, players that had played in the World Series, football players, actors. They got one of the guys from Cobra Kai, the Netflix series. On they did an interview with him, and I was on a multi dad interview with this guy. Sean Kanan is his name. He was in the original Karate Kid, and then he kind
Mm.
of fallen in with the series on Netflix. So the joke was I was the least famous person that they had interviewed up to that point. And they go, "Oh no, no, we did a weather guy, a local weather guy." And I'm like, "Well, I know he's got a bigger following than I do." So, but
Okay.
the guy that's coming on, his name is Nick Martin, and Nick was one of the co-hosts of this podcast. And Nick, through when I did my first interview with him, and I've done a couple with them, um, he just had this mystery disease come on him. That was almost 2 years ago. He's still not got a final diagnosis. They're still running tests. They're still doing all these things. They don't know what's going on with him. So his story is going to be very good. And he's much like you and I, he finds the positivity in life and he pushes forth through the pain. And he's got young kids as well. So, as a young parent dealing with kids and dealing with a chronic disease and dealing with pain, hopefully he's going to give us some good information for the young mothers that are out there with arachnoiditis or rheumatoid arthritis or MS or lupus or Lyme disease. Go down the list. I mean, uh,
Mm.
you could. it's horrible what happens to young parents when it takes so much effort to raise a kid and then that happens. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that interview, and then we have several more. I mean, I've got a laundry list of people that want to be on the show. I'm glad that I had you here. You were going to be on as a guest, but you were a co-host this time, so we got to
That's all
spread
right.
out here. And we'll look forward to having you back, and maybe we could do like a roundtable with Sarah at some point. We can all,
Oh, that would be great. I feel like I know her, even though I don't. So hopefully I finally get to meet her soon.
yeah, yeah. She's got to find her way out of the ketamine haze, and trust me,
Hmm.
some of the stuff we've been texting forth or back and forth is like, oh, okay, you know,
Great entertainment, I'm sure.
it, it's interesting, but she knows, that I love her, and I'm going to look out for her and protect her, and we're just really excited to have this podcast, and I base a lot of it off of the experience I had with you and Andy on the My Spoon and Sisters podcast. So thank you for that opportunity.
Absolutely, of course. We're happy to support you in all that you do.
Thank you so much. Well, hey, everybody that's out there that has tuned in and stayed long enough, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. I never thought that I would be the guy that says that, but it is very essential to move us up in the algorithm so that people can find us. And we want people to find us because we feel like we have a lot to say, we have a lot to teach, we can encourage, we can support, we can advocate. Those are the things that matter. It's not about the number of subscribers or the number of clicks. If we reach one person, we make a difference. That's all that matters. That's truly what matters to us because that person can make a difference in another person's life. And then it just kind of goes on and on. So there's that domino effect.
Absolutely. So
So,
get on down there, find that arrow. Make sure
yeah.
some people call it the carrot. Go down there, make sure you're liking it and sharing it with
I need,
someone
I
that.
need to figure out how to put like and subscribe like right here. However, that's beyond my skill level at this point.
So add it into your logo picture
Oh,
up
okay.
there. Yeah, that's what you should
Oh,
do.
okay.
We'll talk about it in a second. I'll
All
help
right.
you.
All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody. Have a good day. Hopefully you're pain free. Look forward to seeing you next time. You'll never know who's going to be on the other end of the microphone. So take care. We'll see you guys.